Ultimate MK Podquest.
I just want to say I'm in an absolute minefield right now because I can't flip my phone over, open Google Drive, or unintentionally open any social media, or I risk having the race spoiled for me. And it's going to be over by the time this podcast is done because it's probably going to be over in the next 10 minutes.
Okay.
So I am in an absolute minefield right now, which I just think is funny.
That's all right. You can upload the stuff later. You're going to watch the race?
Like the second we are done, I am watching the race from the very beginning.
Are you recording?
The race?
The podcast.
Oh, yeah. Well, we were just talking about something that's airing live currently. That felt like a reasonable question.
No, I know. I meant because this is good. This is good fluff.
Oh yeah, people use TiVo. People record television
You
still.
still have TiVo up there?
That's all. That's all we have.
Oh, your cable companies don't give you DVRs?
No, like the only way to watch TV is on a TiVo.
Oh, okay.
But there's only a couple of them.
Like in your personal.
No, like
just all of Canada. There's only there's 3 TiVos.
Well, and do you remember the commercials where there was the TiVo guy like walking around?
No.
Well, they definitely are real. And what happens here?
I believe they may just be Canadian exclusive.
You have to entrap the TiVo man
with like a Pokeball,
and then you get to watch TV that day. But people will know that you did it. A big pillar of light, like a beam, shoots out from your house, and everybody knows that you're the TiVo house for that day.
Mm-hmm.
Not to be confused with the Tebow house because we don't get football up here.
Right.
And
sure.
Yeah, you have to try to protect the TiVo man, and then you get to watch Celebrity Wheel of Fortune whenever you want.
Do you catch the TiVo man in like a big net? Is it like a big net situation?
How did
not
they
to
catch
be confused
the Noid?
with Omegis' net?
How did they catch the Noid?
I think it was a big net.
Yeah, it's however they caught the Noid.
Unless the TiVo man is on stage playing piano, then you have to use a big hook.
Right.
These are funny for somebody. Maybe not us, but for somebody. Should we clap?
I found a commercial with a walking around TiVo mascot, but it's so grossly unfamiliar to me that I'm disgusted by it. But it is showing car racing, which in itself wraps around to making it hilarious again.
What if it's showing spoilers for the race you're missing right now?
It's NASCAR, don't worry.
Corey.
Neil. I like how that's become our intro. We just address each other.
I think it's good. Then people know who's who.
Now we finally identify ourselves. What if we just said fake names? What if we just started naming ourselves other things?
Franklin.
Jeffrey.
No, I'm Franklin and you're Bash, motherfucker. Don't forget it.
I'm Starsky and you're Hutch, and do not get it confused.
I'm Rizzoli, you're Isles.
I'm Hardy, you're brothers. Actually, they were the Hardy boys, not the Hardy brothers, but the Hardy brothers are Matt and Jeff Hardy, and then the Hardy boys are Frank and Joe Hardy. How is that for a fucking pull?
I'm Nancy and you're Drew. Let's get into this.
Can I be Nancy?
Fine.
Thank you.
Nancy.
Drew.
Let's talk about Mortal Kombat Legends Battle of the Realms, the second and last, I'm sure, of these animated Mortal Kombat movies.
Said with hate in your heart.
I just want to...
Drew, what happened to you?
I just want to stay up top. I do not hate this movie. I don't particularly like it, but I don't hate it.
Wow. We're not wasting any fucking time, are we?
We're on a clock, dude.
I don't like this movie.
That's fair. We can get into it more. I did do an episode of Combat Time. The Combat Time boys had me on.
Combat Time.
To talk about this movie specifically. I made a lot of my feelings clear. I'll probably repeat some stuff in this one, but we're going to, we talk about things differently. So
for example, I'm way stupider than the Combat Time guys.
But yeah, I'm just, this one honestly didn't really work for me. I think there's some good stuff here. I watched the featurette for that one, and they very clearly said that they always imagined this to be a 2-part saga, which I'm going to just publicly call bullshit. There's no way that this was...
Also, that's a comically hilarious ending to your 2-part saga if this is the end of it.
Yeah.
Because nothing's... you're halfway through character arcs right now. Like, what do you mean
Yeah. I'm calling shenanigans. There's a movie missing from this trilogy, and they tried to mash 2 into this one. That's my theory. I could be wrong, but that's
Big theory, boy.
Big theory, boys. Big theory, boys.
that's what I mean, I honestly do think that. I think that they probably plan to do more, and then they kind of had to combine things. We're gonna get into some of the things that make me think that. I think we should just jump right in though. Do you want to Neil Nook first?
Yes.
You do remember the movie, right?
I do.
Okay.
More or less, yeah.
Let's Neil Nook first. Welcome to the Neil Nook.
It's Gucci.
All right. Mortal Kombat Legends, Battle of the Realms, the gritty reboot to Defenders of the Realms, as I will prove in the coming minutes.
As I will prove with how I live the rest of my life.
It was written by Jeremy Adams and directed by Ethan Spalding, the same duo from the last movie. We've got some returning cast. Some of them do additional voices. I'm going to run through them pretty quickly. We've got Jennifer Carpenter back as Sonya, Joel McHale back as Johnny Cage, much to Corey's chagrin, I'm sure. And mine, honestly.
Yeah, I could live without it.
There was a lot in this. Ike Amati as Jax Briggs, and he provides the voice for the one being in this.
Damn.
Gray Griffin is voicing Satoshi and Katana / Melina, but if you've seen the behind the scenes features, they show concept art that shows that was intended to be Lee May.
For the record, Wikipedia also says Lee May.
Thank you. They've fixed it.
It's very clearly Lee May.
It's Lee May. It's absolutely Lee May. So I'm going to say Gray Griffin as Satoshi and Katana and Lee May. Robin Atkin Downs was Kano in the last movie. He is here voicing Shinnok and Reiko. Art Butler is back as Shang Tsung, but he's also voicing Cyrax. Dave B. Mitchell is back as Raiden and also providing the voices for Kintaro and Sector. New cast. We've got Bayardo de Murguia. Might have really butchered that pronunciation, and I apologize. He's voicing Kuai Lang, a.k.a. Sub-Zero. He did voices in Fast and Furious Spy Racers.
Oh my God, who?
I don't know. It's just like additional voices, like one-off characters, but
that doesn't mean he wasn't Tony Toretto's legendary cousin Dom.
But I am obligated to play this.
Tony Toretto's legendary cousin Dom.
Tony Toretto's legendary cousin Dom.
Tony Toretto's legendary cousin Dom.
How many are you going to play? I didn't know there was going to be that many.
There's 3. I'm going to isolate them now. We've got Dave sent one in.
Tony Toretto's legendary cousin Dom.
I like that he sounds happy about it.
And Dakota sent one in.
Tony Toretto's legendary cousin Dom.
Yeah, those have very different vibes. They're both very good.
Let's get the melody again. Hold on. I want to get the timing right.
Tony Toretto's legendary cousin Dom.
Tony Toretto's legendary cousin Dom.
Tony Toretto's legendary cousin Dom.
So my favorite part about that is Dave is excited about it.
Yeah, he is.
I don't know how to adequately describe Dakota's vibe, but it's good. It's just not the Dave vibe.
Dakota gave me 5 alts.
That's fucking amazing.
And I picked one. He also, apologies, Dakota, he also gave me a couple more souls for daddies, and I didn't get those cut up in time for recording. I'm sorry, dude. Well, I'm going to work those in the future for sure.
And then obviously Paul's is, he just sounds confused.
Yeah,
which I love.
Greg, please
Greg,
give us
please.
a
I know you
Toretto's
might have done it by now,
Dom.
but but we're living our lives. The time stream only moves in one direction.
Time is a flat circle, etc. Whatever. We've got Matthew Yang King as Kung Lao. He voiced Liu Kang and Fujin in Mortal Kombat 11 and is Marty Mantle in Riverdale. I think this is our first Riverdale connection.
Marty Mantle?
I think that's Reggie Mantle's dad or brother.
Who's Reggie Mantle?
Reggie Mantle is Archie's rival from Archie Comics.
Archie's rival?
Yeah.
I thought Archie's rival on Riverdale was like a French Canadian bootlegger fighting a bear in a pit or some shit. That happens at one point, I think. My roommate told me that.
I mean, that's Riverdale. We were talking like traditional, like old school Archie canon. No, like Reggie just wanted to like date Veronica and had a sports car and was kind of a dick to everybody.
Don't we all want to date Veronica from the Archie comics and have a sports car?
Yeah.
Yeah.
More of a Betty guy, personally.
Good thing that they usually hang out. I think you'll be good one way or the other.
Getting weird now. Check out my Sabrina the Teenage Witch stream on ko-fi.com/mkpodquest. We forgot to plug that in the last episode.
We sure did.
Might have to drop that in. We've got Matthew Mercer as Striker.
Hey.
Striker, Smoke, and Demon 1. Full disclosure, everyone made a big deal out of this guy. I didn't know who he was. He's from Critical Role. He's a voiceover guy, right? He did voices on Demon Slayer, which people are into.
He does what?
He does a voice on Demon Slayer.
Does he? I don't know what Demon Slayer is. Is it an anime?
Yeah, I think it's an anime. I've heard people talk about it.
He is the voice of Cole Cassidy in Overwatch.
Okay, yeah, I did see that.
People know that.
Sure.
I watched the vast majority of the first season of Critical Role, got like 2 episodes behind, fell off completely, and have not watched it since, but it was a good time.
That's a lot of people's journey with Critical Role, I think.
He's a very talented guy.
Sure.
That's all you need to know about Matthew Mercer. He's like unfairly talented.
You'd have to be, because he also voices Espio the Chameleon in Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games Tokyo 2020.
It's true.
Matthew Mercer as Stryker, trying his best to make Stryker likable. Unfortunately, it doesn't work.
Unfortunately, he fails. He is not talented enough to do that.
Nobody, but nobody is. Ron Perlman couldn't do it. I mean, come on. Emily O'Brien is here as Jade. She is credited with 417 episodes of The Young and the Restless, 133 episodes of Days of Our Lives, and just a countless amount of video games for voiceover work.
Get paid, Emily O'Brien.
Hell yeah, Emily O'Brien.
God damn.
Deborah Wilson is here as Devora. She was Oprah in Scary Movie 4, and she was in the last Sharknado, It's About Time.
Huh.
Finally, we've got Paul Nakauchi as the Lin Kuei Grandmaster. He did voices on Legend of Korra, something called Be Cool Scooby-Doo, which I imagine is an all Scooby-Doo remake of the John Travolta movie Be Cool.
Yeah, obviously.
And he voiced kind of a supporting character in Tomb Raider Legend, the first Tomb Raider reboot, before the current Tomb Raider reboot games.
Speaking of Overwatch, he is Hanzo.
And he is Hanzo in Overwatch. Look, I know nothing about Overwatch.
I played a lot of Overwatch, and I was really into Overwatch esports for a long time.
Okay. Is that why you got that chair?
Yeah, that's specifically why I bought the chair. Also, we got to tap into the SEO. He does an English dub voice for Squid Game.
Hell yeah. Nice.
which I have not seen.
Squid Game. We're going to blow up, dude. Just keep saying
also,
Squid Game.
You said that was the last person on the cast list, and I would like to correct you.
Who'd I miss? Did I miss somebody?
We have a cameo from Matthew Lillard as Shaggy Rogers.
Oh, that is on my list, isn't it? Yeah, it is.
How did you forget?
Because it's above everything else. It's the first thing I wrote down on my notes. Matthew Lillard as Shaggy in the opening, I don't know, the Warner Brothers title card.
Yeah, he's playing Ultra Instinct Shaggy. I will say, though, I feel like the second the studio gets its hands on the joke is less funny.
I agree, honestly. And I didn't know what the joke was. I was just like, oh, cool. Shaggy's here and he's possessed and he's going to grab Scorpion.
He's not possessed. He's very specifically this running bit that just sort of developed on the internet, like those things tend to happen.
I've learned about it since then, yeah.
Oh, you do know? I thought you said you didn't know what it was. I was going to explain it.
No, at the time I didn't know. But by all means, please explain it for the listeners, because I'm probably not the only person.
He's like a hyper-powered god being who like never uses all of his power because he would just kill everybody all the time.
Okay.
And be like an unstoppable force of nature. Like, wow, man, that was crazy. I almost had to use 0.001% of my power. Like, just really stupid shit.
Just a bunch of people having fun on the internet. Something I do not do.
Yeah, a bunch of guys being dudes.
Yeah, Matthew Lillard, famous for being in Scream, Hackers,
Ghoulies, 3 Ghoulies Go to College,
the Scooby-Doo movies. Just generally being awesome all the time. SLC Punk, great movie if you haven't seen that.
Matthew Lillard, famous for being in Wing Commander.
The Wing Commander live action movie. Did I tell you I bought that? I haven't watched it yet, but I bought that.
I didn't know that, I don't think, actually.
Yeah, I bought it, and I cannot wait to watch it, even though our friends over at the Wing Commander Combat Information Center basically say don't.
Yeah, who are we to listen to reason?
Who am I to listen to reason? I watch all kinds of bad shit all the time.
You do. You really, truly do.
Hey, man, you only live once.
And we're spending that time doing this.
That's it for the Neil Nook. Can you give us a pretty in-depth Corey corner? Maybe we won't have to go as scene by scene because there's a big middle section where nothing interesting happens in this movie.
Yeah, I'd be happy to do that.
Welcome to the Corey Corner.
The Discord is so fucked up that like I didn't hear the engine sound at all. Car's having a little trouble starting up today, brother. Just gotta really rip that engine. Is that how people talk about cars? Here's the spoiler. I like F1. I don't know shit about cars.
No, you gotta roll downhill and pop the clutch, and then you're good to go.
Yeah, you gotta really get that inline four singing.
My mom told me that the car she had when she was, college age, pre-college age, whatever, the ignition just never worked. So whenever she went somewhere, she had to park uphill so that she could roll start her car.
Why would the car start if it was rolling if the ignition didn't work?
I'm not about to, like, the key thing didn't work. So like she would have to like put it in gear and roll and pop the clutch, and it would start the engine. I cannot describe. I know how to do it.
That starts the engine though? Why?
I've had to do it in my truck a couple of times. I cannot accurately describe the method in which you do it.
Weird. Well, I didn't want you to describe the logistics, but I just didn't know you could do that.
Well, it involves like you have to like turn the key as you're in gear and you're rolling, and you release the clutch, and it like jumps the whole thing and makes it going.
Makes the spark plugs go.
Makes it going, but it works. It works.
I actually also don't know what a key does when you put a key in ignition anyway. So
you can also push. You can also do the same thing if people are pushing the car. You can get it to go that way if it's manual transmission. That's the big thing.
Right. Which I don't know how to drive. So
two fucking solid dudes who know a lot of shit about cars talking about cars on a podcast.
Two guys who love cars talking about cars.
Super into cars.
Somebody well, I mean, my problem is like I know like makes and models of cars and I can identify some cars, but I don't know shit about like the functioning of a car.
How they work.
Like I could point at a Honda NSX or an Acura NSX over here and be like,
Ooh.
Hey, I know what that is. But if you asked me to describe how one worked, couldn't tell you.
Yeah, me neither. I don't know.
I don't know how to drive a Mitsubishi Pajero.
We don't need to get into it. I did bleed my clutch once. That sucked.
Gross.
It was hard. Just to get enough pressure that I could drive it to the mechanic.
I want to tell you a story, but it's about a coworker, and I don't want to identify people.
Tell me off air.
I'll tell you off air, but it's funny.
Tell me that story about James, the guy you work with, off air.
Yeah, fuck James.
James Patterson.
World famous novelist. Tell me about that time you and Dean Koontz stole a car.
So yeah, the time you and Dean Koontz stole Michael Crichton's car and took it for a joyride. You fucking
from the parking lot of a Walden Books.
It must have been a long time ago.
Back in dinosaur times.
What's this movie about, Corey? Let's talk about this movie.
I just actually described the plot to you. That's exactly what the movie's about.
But the shenanigans of best-selling authors.
The Mortal Kombat gang and Dean Koontz go to steal James Patterson's car.
Oh, man.
Out of a Walden Books parking lot, and shenanigans ensue.
Obviously.
Okay, so speaking of shenanigans, a baby's parents are about to be murdered.
Yep.
By Tarkatan dudes in a city.
One of which may have been Carbrack.
We can't rule that out. We simply don't have the information.
We honestly can't rule it out. We have our suspicions.
So this is Liu Kang's parents. This is a flashback. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. And they just absolutely murder the shit out of his parents. And then Raiden decides to show up just in time for the parents to already be dead.
Yeah.
And then viciously murder peak Raiden bullshit, if I may be so bold.
Can I interrupt with a big theory, boys?
Great. This episode's going to be 6 hours, please.
Big theory boys. Big theory boys.
Raiden intentionally waited until Liu Kang's parents were killed before he intervened. 100% he did, because he wanted that baby. Go on.
I think Raiden should have just been the bad guy, put on that black outfit he has from whatever game that was, and stole the baby.
Deception.
That sounds like a deceptive thing to do to somebody.
Deception, Armageddon, and definitely Armageddon, and Mortal Kombat 11 at the beginning, and the end of 10. Go on.
There you go. Cool. So we're officially a minute into this movie. Raiden lightning murders everybody, and the mom is like, hey, please tell my son I loved him. And his dad loved him also, before his dad got brutally murdered by those guys.
Got his head cut off.
Cut to the war. So there's a war happening. There had been a Mortal Kombat tournament, and that didn't go so hot for Outworld. So there's a war. And we've got two opposing sides. There's a big battlefield with all kinds of like demons and monsters and Republicans in it, and they're all on the bad side. And we've got this like big temple, and they're protecting that. And by they, I mean Earthrealm people. We've got Kung Lao.
Yeah, we do.
I'm jumping around slightly, but like Jax and shows up, and he brings Curtis Stryker along, who's new.
Curtis
Sonya
Stryker.
and Johnny are there, but Jonathan goes over to the bad guy team, which is Katana, and Katana's like, hang on, not everybody's gonna know who this is, so I need to do roll call. So Katana conveniently names everybody who's around, which is Kentaro, Reiko, Jade, and then Devora and Lee May round that contingent out.
And Baraka, she names Baraka.
And Baraka.
We have confirmation that Baraka's in this one. So Carbrak must have been in the first one.
Yeah, reasonable.
Yeah.
And Baraka 2, Baraka, the hit sequel to Jungle to Jungle. I don't know.
My license plate should be 2 Baraka.
Car 2 Brack.
Oh my God. C-A-R
2 Car 2 Brack.
C-A-R-B-R-K, Carbrak. Carbrak's in the running.
Thank you. Johnny Cage goes over there and he's like, hey, how about surrendering? And they're like, wow, you want to surrender, you fucking dumb piece of shit? And he's like, no, I think you guys should surrender. What? Am I wrong?
No, but it's always funny when you say dumb piece of shit.
Do I say it a lot?
Yeah, it's pretty great. I like it.
Kind of a calling card, you dumb piece of shit.
Yeah.
And Johnny Cage is doing some real Johnny Cage ass shit. I frankly find it annoying. And he's like, no, I think you guys should quit. Because we're going to fucking kick your ass. We're going to take you up behind the Walden books and kick your ass, James Patterson.
We're coming for you, Tom Clancy.
We're coming for you, Tom Clancy. So they're negotiating, and by negotiating, I mean Sonya Blade is hidden with a sniper rifle and starts murdering people.
Yeah.
With a big gun. And everybody's favorite Mortal Kombat character, a big gun.
Yeah.
And so negotiations kind of fall apart, and Raiden shows up, and Liu Kang shows up, and there's some fighting that's gonna go down, throwdown, just like the hit Miley Cyrus Hannah Montana song "Ho Down, Throwdown," much like our hit episode "Threshold Throwdown." Sorry, I got distracted by the "Ho Down, Throwdown." I listened to that song a lot when I was a kid. I'm willing to say that in public.
You're allowed. Everybody knows.
I was a child.
Everybody knows that at least once a month I listen to Leona Lewis's "Bleeding Love" and sing along at the loudest volume I can in my pickup truck.
That's fucking absolutely based.
Okay. Occasionally I'll listen. You know, Aaron Carter.
Yeah, the time he beat Shaq.
No, not Aaron Carter. Fuck. What's his name?
Paul McCartney, Jamie McCartney.
Jesse McCartney. Jesse McCartney. He wrote that song. He does a pretty good version of it also.
How I Beat Shaq? Oh no, the Bleeding Love.
I don't know, man. Bleeding Love's an all-timer.
What's Shaq's opinion? Do we know?
His opinion is you should buy general car insurance.
If you don't want to go to a war and die, go to the general and buy some crime.
Where were we?
I cannot ever tell a lie. The general is going to jail for tax evasion.
There it is.
I didn't hear that one, but I'll trust you.
It was the sad trombones.
Breaking news, the general from those commercials has been sent to prison for being in the Pandora Papers.
God damn it. And fighting against Scottish independence.
Fucking reactionary piece of shit. Oh boy. Okay, sorry. So everybody's gonna fight each other. And Shao Kahn shows up. And that's usually bad. So Shao Kahn appears because Raiden showed up, and Shao Kahn is like, "Hey, what if we just did a final Mortal Kombat tournament?" And by final, he means it literally. He means the last one, because there's a lot of stakes here. It's the fate of the entire world. And Raiden is like, "Sure, I love gambling." And they agree to go meet the Elder Gods to petition them. And they're like, "Hey, Elder Gods, me and Raiden, we're hoping we could like have another tournament again. I know we just did one, but like it would be really cool. It'll decide the fate of the realms, and I think you guys should let us do it." And they're like, "Okay." That's how that scene goes. So then Raiden, before we go, remembered that other Mortal Kombat movies existed that they needed to call back to. So he's like, wait, hold on. Also, I would like to rescind my god power so I can participate.
Yeah, just like I did in Mortal Kombat Annihilation. Remember when I did that? Let's do it again.
Yeah, remember when other things happened in another movie? What if we did them again and you clapped like a big fucking dumb piece of shit? because you recognized it, and that's all you have.
You said it again, dude.
Well, now I'm doing it on purpose. But I'll keep doing it, and I'll forget that I'm doing it on purpose. Time is a flat circle.
I'm realizing something.
That it's been 30 minutes?
Well, aside from that.
Do people that listen to this show think we hate making it because we talk about the runtime a lot?
I cut that out a lot. Thanks for listening.
I don't have time to listen to every episode that we make.
You know what? This tangent isn't worth going on. Please just continue.
No. What is it?
Well, I'm trying to now think. Was there ever a time in official Mortal Kombat canon when Raiden gave up his powers to fight alongside the Earthrealmers? Because, like, is the rule that he can't fight just a rule for Threshold, and then that got adapted into this? Or, like, because he was playable in Mortal Kombat 1 and 2, is there a storyline reason for it? And then I was like, well, if there was, Corey would never know, because the entire Raiden story didn't get told on Mortal Podcast, so Corey would have no frame of reference.
Well, I played MK9.
Yeah, it just doesn't happen, does it? Like,
no.
Yeah, okay.
I don't think they knew at the time. I think they thought that a guy who could shoot lightning was cool, and they didn't think about it that hard.
Hey, Tabmock99, please let me know.
Yeah, if you're listening, first of all, sorry for every episode just really mocking the lore.
Well, one of us mocks it more than the other. So
yeah, well, I'm the fall guy. I'm the king of comedy.
Nah, that's what we do, man. That's what fans do.
Yeah. So, cut to the Nether Realm, and just like that, I did it like on the other podcast. Get it? It's a callback to what I don't know. So Scorpion is in hell, because he died on Shang Tsung's island, as we saw, because he was kicking the shit out of Quan Chi's ass.
Yeah, in a truly incredible scene.
And then he wakes up and Shinnok is like, "Hi, I'm here now. Thanks for getting that key earlier. I've turned the key into your soul."
Well, he didn't turn the key into his soul. The key became part of his soul for reasons that make zero sense, and none of us will ever know, because there's a movie missing from this saga.
Scorpion's soul is now the key that he needed to get in the other movie that got Shinnok out of prison. And he's like, "Hey man, don't fuck with me. I need you to go get something for me."
Yeah, basically.
I need you to go. I need you to run to the store in Earth, and
Mhm.
and don't worry, it'll be super cool.
Fill out this application so that you can be an official DoorDash driver.
He has to sign waivers. Raiden and everybody go back to the temple and just sort of chat about the tournament for a bit, and then Scorpion arrives in Earth and explains the whole soul key thing. And Raiden's like, "Oh, that thing that Shinnok wanted you to go to the store for, it's called a Kami Dogu."
Yeah, it is.
And that's interesting because if that word rings a bell, thank you for listening to Mortal Podcast, but also Kami Doku daggers are what cut the one being into a bajillion million pieces. Except this is not a dagger, it's more of a, well, it's a MacGuffin, but it's also some circles.
Do I get to teach you something now?
I never teach you anything.
I do. I get to teach you something, man. So this is the Earthrealm Kami Dogu, the two circles, the blue and the green one.
Yeah, it looks dorky as shit, I must say.
As depicted in Mortal Kombat Deception and Armageddon. This is 3D era stuff. This is the original. This is what the Kami Dogu originally were before the timeline reset in the Mortal Kombat, specifically the Mortal Kombat 10 comics that changed them into the daggers.
Oh, they weren't always daggers?
No, they were the essence of the realms, much like the essence in Mortal Kombat Conquest, you know?
Yeah,
they
heard
were,
of it.
They were the fragments of, they were the physical fragments, the physical manifestation of the fragments of the one being that birthed the different realms, versus the Kami Dogu daggers, which were what cut the one being into the pieces, and then the pieces became the realms. It's a minor difference, but it's an important one.
You can find all that lore in Kingdom Hearts 0.2, A Fragmentary Passage.
Yeah, there you go.
Which also includes fragments of worlds in some capacity.
And I know I tripped over that a lot. I have to leave it in with me stumbling because I'm not about to repeat that shit. But basically, like this is a reference to 3D era of Mortal Kombat, which I'm all fucking here for. And if you want to see more, eventually I will be finishing Mortal Kombat Deception Conquest Mode on Twitch, twitch.tv/FinalNeil. That's Neil with an A. Please continue, Corey.
So, Shinnok wants all the Kami Dogus to turn into the one being and destroy everything because he's a pissy teenager.
Sure he is.
And meantime, Sub-Zero's also here.
Yep.
I'm going to talk about that now, even though I think, no, the tournament starts and some people fight.
Yeah, and it's nothing. It's just nothing.
I'm not even going to give the results of the fights. Literally, who gives a shit? Sub-Zero and Smoke are vibing because they're boyfriends.
Working out some aggression, some tension.
Yeah, they're kicking the shit out of each other, but in like a cool way that friends do. And somebody
like
comes
a
out.
consensual rough play way.
Yeah, somebody comes out and they're like, "Hey man, can you come inside for a second? The principal just wants to talk to you." And they're like, "Yeah." So they get called to the principal's office, and the principal's like, "Hey, top students, you guys are doing really well. I want to send you on this mission." They're like, "Fuck yeah, dude, we love missions." And it's like, "Need you to kill Scorpion." He's like, "Fuck yeah, I love the idea of killing Scorpion." And then it's like, "But first, I am gonna turn you guys into robots."
Oh shit. It's a gritty reboot of Old Friends Never Die suddenly.
And they're like, no, you're not. What the fuck do you mean? And then there's like, but what about your boys, Cyrax and Sector? And it's like, oh, they got turned into robots. So Smoke and Sub-Zero try to escape, and Smoke doesn't get away, and Sub-Zero does, and Smoke gets roboted.
Mm-hmm.
And now Scorpion is being hunted down by Cyrax and Sector and Smoke at like a shipping port.
Yeah.
And Sub-Zero is also there, and he's like, the robots don't get to kill Scorpion. I get to kill Scorpion because Scorpion killed my brother.
But also don't kill me, robots.
Sub-Zero killed my brother Sub-Zero. Or whatever, you get it.
Yeah, everyone gets it. We're going to leave that in.
Anyway. The robots are like, okay, we finally got Scorpion. Scorpion is physically the key to this door. Oh, yeah, they got hired to get the Kami Dogu also. Sorry.
Yeah, they got hired
from
by
Shinnok. Who cares?
Yeah, by Shinnok.
So they're both out trying to get the thing. And they take Scorpion there. Scorpion's like, no, don't open the door. Raiden told me it's bad in there. And they're like, fuck you, we're robots. And they make Raiden open the door. Or whatever.
You did it again, dude. You make Scorpion open the door. You keep mixing up Scorpion and Raiden.
No, but you get it. They make Scorpion the guy who physically is a key.
Yeah.
They let Scorpion's heart be his guiding key. And he opens the door. Well, actually, they don't, because his heart did not want to do that.
And then Sora was there, but it wasn't Sora from Kingdom Hearts. It was Sora from Mortal Kombat Conquest.
And she dies. and
Yeah. She wasn't in this movie.
Sub-Zero shows up and they fight. Scorpion tries to say, "Hey, please don't kill me," and they eventually agree that that's probably the move. But whatever. Cut to the fighting tournament. More fighting is happening. Except this time, Katana is like, "What if I killed my evil stepdad and became God?" Except it doesn't work.
Yeah.
And Shang Tsung or motherfucking Shao Kahn is like, "I'm gonna kick your ass." Shinnok gets the Kami Dogu, which is bad. He wants to end all of reality, which is bad. He gets the power of the One Being, which is bad. Shao Kahn beats up Raiden. Liu Kang beats up Shao Kahn. Shinnok becomes the One Being. The Elder Gods arrive and turn Liu Kang into fucking... What's the Golden Sonic called? It's just Super Sonic?
It's
Super Liu Kang.
Just Supersonic, yeah.
Super Saiyan God Liu Kang.
Yeah, he got all the Chaos Emeralds.
He got all the Chaos Emeralds and whatever Goku has to do to turn into a Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan.
He just had to do a bunch of push-ups and
Bunch of fucking screaming.
100 times Earth's gravity.
And then a big One Being and a big Liu Kang have a fight, and Liu Kang wins, and he gets all the One Being power.
Mm-hmm. And he unmerges the realms. And
he
that's
unmerges the realms, and then Raiden is implied to be alive via lightning.
Yeah, and a silhouette. You do see a silhouette of him.
Okay, so that's a long, rambly, terrible plot explanation.
It's a rambly movie.
This movie, it's not very good. This movie has no narrative thrust to it at all.
No. Let's start digging in here. I want to talk about some positives.
Yeah, okay, let's start with the positives instead of the mean thing that I said.
I thought the opening looked very cool. I thought it was very cool to see the Tarkatans stalking people on the streets.
Oh, that part of the opening. Okay.
The very beginning. I thought it looks good, And I do like seeing the siege, the Outworld siege on the Shaolin Temple. That's something that we saw. I mean, we saw a version of this.
Don't.
We saw, in a limited capacity, we saw a version of this in Annihilation. We also play a version of this in Shaolin Monks, and you see some of it in Mortal Kombat 9 also.
This is the part of Mortal Kombat that I could maybe care about the least. Large-scale combat.
The Outworld invasion.
Yeah, I want all of Mortal Kombat's interpersonal and political interest boiled down to identifiable characters. I am not here for larger scale shit. I do not care.
That's
and
fair.
It fails to make it interesting. I don't care about who all these weird fucking monsters are. I'll just go watch fucking Lord of the Rings. I don't know.
Yeah. It was a good way to introduce Kung Lao.
Who gets done dirty again.
I know. My note literally says Kung Lao is here to get murdered for the second time in 2021 in a movie.
With his own hat.
With his own hat. It is
the second
absolute
time
bullshit.
in this year with his own hat.
They keep doing us dirty. Well, he didn't get murdered with his own hat in 21. He got his soul sucked, remember?
But I thought Oh, wait, no, Natara got cut in half with his hat.
He cut Natara in half with his hat, and then this Shao Kahn got revenge on him in Dave's honor for doing that to Natara in the movie.
Yeah, specifically shout out to Dave. Yeah. Natara's most stalwart defender.
I liked Siege. I didn't like particularly when the helicopter crashes in and Jax and Stryker jump out and Stryker
we got guns.
Jax having machine gun arms. Okay, fine. He's got a lot of ammo in those. I don't know where he's storing them. Stryker has 2 pistols that are firing fully automatic. What is he shooting out of those things? Fucking BBs or something?
They're Mac 10s.
It's insane and it's dumb and I don't like it. I honestly don't like it.
I don't want guns in my Mortal Kombat.
I don't want to shit on. I don't want to shit on Stryker just for the sake of shitting on Stryker, but
I do.
Yeah. I want to, but I'm trying not to. How about that?
Well, here's what I'll say: Stryker in this movie exists to do what Johnny Cage was doing in the last movie, except Johnny Cage is still kind of also doing that, which is just be befuddled and confused, and it's not interesting.
I think the big shift with Johnny in this is that it's not that he's befuddled and confused; is that he legit doesn't fucking care. That's the issue I have with Johnny in this.
That's not even how I interpreted it.
he's cracking jokes and being dumb through the whole thing, and they're in another realm.
Oh, are you my girlfriend?
Fighting for the fate of Earthrealm, and all he's trying to do is get Sonya's attention. And like his heart-to-heart moment in this was him asking Jax how he can get Sonya to.
They
like
were in
him.
a '70s conversation pit.
They were in a sunken living room. Why the hell is like that the thing that's on his fucking mind?
Because he's a horny man.
Yeah, but yeah, you win.
Yeah, you know.
I also really, really liked, and I think you had issues with this also. I liked the way that the Cyberlin Quay thing played out. It felt, now, asterisk, it felt real fucking rushed. And this is my big problem with this movie, is that the pacing of everything is all wrong and everything is happening too quickly.
And yet it feels like nothing happens either. Like,
But because stuff isn't given room to breathe, and because there's like a 10-minute section in the middle where there's just a whole bunch of fights in the same location that are about 12 seconds long each, it just, I don't know, man. They should have split this into two things. Like, I liked what I saw of the
I don't know if I
Sub-Zero.
agree with that, only because, like, I'm sorry for cutting you off, but what would another movie of this even look like?
So my idea, I actually did a little note on this. I was like, okay, so this should have been 2 movies.
2Vs.
We should have 3 total. We should have Scorpion's Revenge, right? Then the second movie should primarily focus on the second Outworld tournament, where Liu Kang is facing Shao Kahn and all of and it should culminate in Liu Kang defeating Shao Kahn. In the background of that movie, they should have started sowing the seeds of
Building up the Shinnok subplot.
the Shinnok subplot, so that then in the third movie, Shinnok is introduced as the big bad
Battle of the Realms.
as the like the Cyberlin Quay stuff is all coming to a head. Like, that's also happening. That starts in the second movie. And in the third movie, we've got Sub-Zero and Scorpion like getting along to try to stop the Cyberlin Quay from capturing this thing. Like, it just should have been spread out so that the focus of the second movie could have absolutely been on the second tournament. We could have gotten more sets. It wouldn't have all taken place in one fucking Coliseum. It could have taken place in different arenas, like Mortal Kombat 2 does, the game.
Yeah, I think part of it, I feel like to an extent, maybe regardless of whether the writers intended on it to be 2 movies or not, which I guess really doesn't matter, I feel like it's relying on you having pre-existing knowledge of the lore to be able to move through it at this kind of pace.
But it's also,
and I just don't know if that's a reasonable expectation.
It's also dropping important parts of the lore.
It's
at the same
remixing
time.
it slightly.
It's not even remixing it. It's deleting sections, right? Like the whole, like when Mortal Kombat 2 happened, I could be remembering wrong. Certainly in Mortal Kombat 9's version of the Outworld tournament, that was not sanctioned by the Elder Gods, and that was the whole point of.
No, that was them just saying, "Let's go fucking get them."
Yeah, and that was kind of like that was the point of the "he must win" message, right, from the end of Mortal Kombat 9, or from the beginning of Mortal Kombat 9. Pardon me, was that Raiden should have just let that second tournament play out with Shao Kahn winning, because then the Elder Gods would intervene and reset things and stop it, because that would have been like an official, like he would have, like it wouldn't have counted, right? He would have broken.
They needed a meeting like Federation of Martial Arts had, where they all just go hang out with the Elder Gods and do a criminal trial.
And they would have had a criminal trial of Shao Kahn.
And the general is there.
They would have found him guilty. The general would have been his attorney for some reason. And it would have set things right. But
I'm the general and I'm your guy if you've gone and committed a crime. And that's for his legal services.
But in this...
Yeah.
They just go to Outworld, they go to the Elder Gods, and the Elder Gods are like, yeah, do what you want. So it removes that whole, I don't know, it rewrites the rules, and it rewrites what we've seen in it, and it's a worse version of it, honestly. Like, it really is a worse version of it. All to what set up that the Elder Gods are like, oh, we believed in you, chosen one, here's our power, go stop Shinnok, that's the real threat anyway. Like, I don't buy that. Like, if they knew Shinnok was going to fucking do this, they should have been, like, more directly intervening in that, right? As opposed to letting the second tournament happen and letting a bunch of fucking people die so that Liu Kang could awaken his Arcana or whatever.
He has to activate his Arcana.
And that's the thing that also bothers me about this is, like, I think the implication is that Raiden gives up his godhood and fights as a mortal, and Kung Lao's death and all of these things become like they fucking fridge Kung Lao. They kill him just like they did in Mortal Kombat 21, just to try to move Liu Kang's story along.
We need to find a better way to give Liu Kang's life stakes than just kill Kung Lao every time.
Yeah, they genned him, right? And then they do it again in with they do it again with Raiden, and then Raiden dies, and that's like the spark that Liu Kang finally needs to be able to defeat Shao Kahn. I don't know, man. It's just I don't buy it, and I also don't buy. Sorry, I was trying to talk about positive things. Here I am just ripping this fucking thing apart. I also don't buy like Kitana's turn, right?
No, because they don't adequately illustrate that she's holding cards close to her chest at all. And
no, not at all.
It's not given time to do like what they do in the first live action movie, where they at least have like discussions or they're talking while fighting,
Yeah.
and she's like doing it on the sly. That's at least interesting.
And yeah, so it's just when it happens, you're just kind of like, oh, this is happening because it's Mortal Kombat and it's supposed to happen. It's just anyway.
The whole movie feels like that. The whole movie feels like that. No, I'm gonna pick up on your negativity. Sorry, I have to.
Okay.
We're doing the negative part now. We're gonna end on the nice stuff. Because like I let me look at my note because I wrote it somewhere. But like there was a point where I just checked. Like I wrote it out where I'm like, I have checked out. Like
Right.
I know this is my second time watching it, but like it could not keep my attention. I was bored and kind of frustrated, and it's just not interesting. Like there's some cool visual moments, like things getting like all red and some of the fighting like comic booky.
Sure, but less of them than in the first movie, and used less effectively, in my opinion.
Yeah, but like my notes are all very bland because it wasn't carrying me through it. And the bottom line is like a huge chunk of the middle of this movie, nothing fucking happens.
No.
Or if anything that happens too quickly. So it's difficult to hook you in as a viewer unless you were already very committed to Mortal Kombat, in which case you're just like, oh, cool, fights are happening and I know who all of these people are. But if you're looking for like actual satisfying narrative thrust, it's potentially the most underwhelming iteration of Liu Kang to date and that story.
100%.
And the Raiden angle feels washed. The fighting is boring. You don't care about the interactions because these are largely characters, antagonists that we're just meeting, and the fights are just kind of happening. And it's like, okay, then who cares? And the fucking Cyber Lin Kuei Shinnok subplot has to arc in two different directions, and they both feel half baked.
Yeah, that's
it. That's the bottom line.
So the Shinnok, the Cyber Lin Kuei Shinnok, the Scorpion Sub-Zero, that whole plot line, I think it had the potential to be really, really strong, and I like what I saw of it. But you're absolutely right. It was underbaked, right? It was rushed. Things were cut because they had to give attention to these other things. And I think
this movie's only 80 minutes. Like
it's 80 minutes. They could have 85 minutes, 5 more
90 minutes, like whatever, man. Like
I think 5 more minutes would have done this movie a world of good. Honestly, I don't know what those 5 minutes would be, but I think that if they had just gotten 5 more minutes of plot development, of raising the stakes, I don't know, man, like
establishing something.
Because so I really genuinely liked, and I will rewatch this movie, and I for this alone, I genuinely did like the relationship between Hanzo and Kuai Liang. As rushed as it was, maybe it's because I'm pulling from other Mortal Kombat stuff, like they're trying to get you to. It did work for me. I liked seeing you've got the Cyber Lin Kuei, you got Cyrax and Sector specifically running down Scorpion. Then you've got Sub-Zero coming in and intervening in that because he wants to fight Scorpion, but he's also like, the Cyber Lin Kuei is also technically after him, but right now their mission is Scorpion, right? And then you got Smoke coming in and fucking him up. Like, I like the idea that there's two people who are like two groups that are against each other, hunting down Hanzo, and Hanzo's just kind of like trying to stop the Cyber Lin Kuei from getting the Kamidogu. Doesn't really care, kind of would accept his fate if Kuai Liang like killed him. Like he even says it so much. He's like, look, I deserve to die. I killed your brother because I was tricked, but that doesn't make it okay. And if you want to kill me, kill me. But I have this mission. I have this goal to stop the Cyberlin Quay, to stop Shinnok from getting the Kamidogu. So if you kill me, make sure you complete this mission for me. Like, I think that that's a really, really strong motivation for the character, and would have made a really, really like if more focus had been put on that. If we didn't keep cutting back to the Outworld Coliseum, that
And so much of that is just
hate.
nothing. Like,
Just to
it's
see
just
like
Johnny saying dumb shit.
just to see Johnny get kicked in the balls and Devora kick his ass but not murder him, even though murdering is allowed in this tournament.
What is the really quick? What is the fucking definition of a Mortal Kombat tournament? What the fuck is it? What is it? What does it do? What does it mean? Who is it for? Because why can Shao Kahn just declare this, petition the Elder Gods to declare it? It clearly has different function than a traditional Mortal Kombat tournament, because it's suddenly about the fate of all of reality and the realms. Like, they speak very broadly, not just about what Shinnok is doing, but about this tournament specifically. That I don't fully understand. Beyond that, the pedanticness over whether Raiden can participate seems weirdly unnecessary and muddling. But beyond that, it's like some people are just getting straight up murdered without a prompting of a finish him. Some people get a finish him. Other people are just being kept alive. And again, the matchmaking just seems like a disaster. It's just, this is like the weirdest mobilization of Mortal Kombat as a concept. And to your point, it's supposed to be because like they're trying to like twist their arm on it and like force it. And I understand like what the goals are, but I've just found it frustrating because it's never been clear. And this feels like it's such a weird execution of that idea. And also, I'm sick of this, keeping Shang Tsung alive, famously an extremely smart move. Glad we keep doing that.
I gotta know. Like,
and Liu Kang's sudden ability to just turn it the fuck on after his arm got cursed. Like, where the fuck did that come from? He was absolutely destroying you. You've now been harmed gravely, and suddenly you murder him.
I know it doesn't. I don't. Yeah, that is a weird inconsistency. I can't.
Ultra Instinct Liu Kang has fucking entered the chat. Like, what the fuck?
And let's be clear, my mindset is like I went into this. I loved Scorpion's Revenge so fucking much. I was so excited for this. I went into this absolutely wanting this to be good. I was psyched. I was pumped. You can go back and find where I think both of us, you and I both did.
I was probably pretty excited.
We talked about the trailer with Danny and with Yassine on.
We did. Yeah.
Psyched for it. So I wanted to make sense of this. I really did. I really wanted this to be good. And I am focusing in on, I will remember the parts of this that I really liked, and I'll revisit it because I want to revisit those parts in the future. But like, I can't make the whole thing work. Like, the Liu Kang getting his arm cursed by Shang Tsung and then suddenly being able to fight good just felt like a cliche. Like, does that mean you were holding back in the first part of your fight and now you've realized?
Yeah, he had weighted training gear on.
Like, you should have fucking like powered up to over 9,000 before the fight started, dude. It's Shang Tsung. Like, what are you doing? Yeah, those inconsistencies bother me. And the fights in the tournament where, like, when Jax is fighting, I know Jax isn't going to die. I know Sonya's not going to die. They're not going to do that. They're not going to kill Johnny Cage. They made it clear. When they made it clear in that first fight with Devora, when Johnny Cage got like hit in the balls and was just out of the tournament, and Devora didn't kill him, even though she
and then
very
Deborah
easily
and
could
Li
have.
Mei get like absolutely annihilated.
Yeah. It was clear then that like, oh, none of our main heroes are going to die. And so that means that the new characters that were introduced are going to be the ones who are going to die. We're going to see Stryker die, and that's exciting. We're all here for that. That was very fun to see. Like, that's, worth the price of admission to some people, I'm sure. But that also means we're going to see Kung Lao die, right?
Yeah.
And he did, and that sucked. And this Kung Lao, it confirmed that this Kung Lao is a descendant of the great Kung Lao, so it stung even more.
Well, and I'm just sick of Mortal Kombat media introducing the same suite of characters just to kill them, because like what you're doing is you are closing avenues for different and potentially more interesting storytelling, so you can do the same shit over and over again. And I also think that this tendency for the movie to weirdly not have stakes in terms of life and death is very weird. Like,
yeah, it is.
Anyway, I'm just gonna keep getting heated, but yeah, I don't know.
Speaking of not taking the story in new and interesting directions, right? I want to go back to the part of the movie I liked, the Scorpion segment. It was between these two movies, we've had a really interesting, in my opinion, twist on Mortal Kombat mythologies, right?
Sub-Zero.
Where Mortal Kombat mythology Sub-Zero, not MK Podquest mythologies about noob Cybot.
Mythologies.
But Scorpion's been put in the lead role of this, right? The timeline works out. It was preceding the first Mortal Kombat or concurrent with the first Mortal Kombat tournament, whatever. We go to the Temple of the Elements in this. That's where the Kamidogu is held. That was taken directly from mythologies. That cave with the bridges and the winds that carry people up and down. You know.
Oh, like the whole thing, like the whole set piece.
Yeah, I mean, it looks
Okay.
a little different, but the Temple of the Elements is a very real thing. That's where you fight Fujin in the game, and they have those same wind gusts and bridges and stuff like that. This is an interpretation of that for sure. So they're referencing that, and that very specifically tied into like Quan Chi wanting to get Shinnok's amulet, etc. So I like that we saw a version of that storyline that a lot of people have probably missed, and the version of it got to be told, because the best part of that game is the story. Well, the best part is the shitty cutscenes.
The shitty FMV cutscenes.
Yeah, which are very fun and cool to watch and ambitious as hell. So, I say shitty lovingly, just to be clear. John Tobias, who might listen to this.
We love everything that we're shitting on here, like conceptually.
Yeah, I liked that. Where was I going with this? I was going somewhere with this. Give me a second here. Oh, once the Kamidogu has gotten captured, right? Like, even though Kuai Lang and Hanzo put their differences aside and Kuai Lang assists Hanzo, they still get fucking pranked by the Cyber Lin Kuei, and Cyrax and Sector get the thing and take it to Shinnok, and Shinnok starts resurrecting the one being, and that's when the Lin Kuei Grandmaster, who I'm just going to call Oniro, because that's what his name was in Defenders of the Realm.
Okay.
Realizes he's like, we got you the thing. Wait, that's a Kamidogu? Wait, wasn't Shinnok looking for those? Oh shit, you're Shinnok? I'm working for Shinnok this whole time? And Shinnok's like, yeah, dumbass. Of course you are. And he has all of the demon horde come in and start like murder the Grandmaster, dismantle Cyrax, Sector, and Smoke. Well, you don't see what happens to Smoke.
Right.
You see Cyrax and Sector get dismantled by these things. And we've got this plot line set up where Smoke and Kuai Lang, we all know, are super tight, friends with benefits at the minimum, right? And Tomas has this sacrifice that allows Kuai Lang to get away, and Smoke ends up getting, cybered by two dudes. We don't get any payoff for that. They keep Smoke around. Smoke is like an antagonist. You're expecting like the third act, Smoke is going to come back. He's going to like fight against his programming. He's going to ally with Hanzo and Kuai Lang and Liu Kang and everybody else and he's going to help out in the fight against corrupted Shinnok. But it just never happens. We don't see him die. He just vanishes. He just vanishes from everybody. It's just left unsolved and undealt with, and that bothered me, because are we now just like, we watch Hanzo and we watch Kuai Lang like fight really well together against giant Shinnok at the end. They're like working in tandem with their ice bridges and swinging around and stuff, and like, what happened to Smoke, dude? Like, Smoke should be there also. Like, how rewarding would that have been if Cyber Smoke came back and reunited with Kuai Lang, even in his cyber form, and helped them all? Like, that would be a great direction to take the entire story. Like, that would be a serious remix on what we saw from the games. That would be a very cool thing to see. And they just, and not only did they not do that, which would be forgivable, but they just fucking forgot about Smoke completely at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
We don't even get to fucking see what happens to him.
Just a loose thread.
I've watched closely several fucking times now. I don't know how many times I've seen this movie, like 4.5.
That's, you gotta, well, okay, can we have a brief intervention where I tell you that you don't need to watch bad Mortal Kombat things that many times?
All right, well, I just want to be clear. When the movie came out, I planned to do the episode with Combat Time, right? So I watched Scorpions. I watched Scorpion's Revenge to refresh myself. Then I started watching Battle of the Realms. It didn't go great. Like, I was just too tired. So I turned it off and I started over again the next day, and I watched it all the way through. Then I watched it with you and everybody else in the Discord. So that was 2.5. So I've watched it 3.5 times now.
That's not bad.
I don't think that's unreasonable. But yeah, it's just the movie. My big issue with the movie is that it just feels so incomplete. We get like half of a really good story, but we have to keep cutting away from it to make room for this underdeveloped story where we just see a bunch of people beat the shit out of each other. And then we have a third act that feels like it comes out of nowhere and feels absolutely disconnected from everything else.
And also,
because-
several characters have absolutely nothing to do.
Yeah, and a lot of them have nothing. They're just there to get
Jax
killed,
has nothing to
right?
do, or even like characters that we like live. That like Sonya has nothing to do. Sonya's like,
No.
I know the realms are literally deteriorating and the one being is here, but don't worry, we're gonna rescue civilians because I brought a bag of guns.
Yeah, yes. Sonya brought a bag of guns.
You ever
So
bring a bag
while-
of guns to a deity fight?
So once Shinnok has restored the one being with the Kamidogu and merged with it, which is kind of I did think that part was kind of fun because it was like a twist on the corrupted Shinnok who used Earth's Jinsei in Mortal Kombat 10 to become corrupted in the big bad. I thought it was a nice spin on that, like a combining of mythologies, right? But then he's just like a big giant dude storming around, ripping places apart.
He's
and
just a
then-
big humanoid man.
Yeah, and so the rest of our heroes are they're relegated to like crowd control, right? They're on the ground shooting Tarkatans and trying to save civilians, but what are you fucking trying to save them from?
And I'm
like
throwing tomatoes at the screen and booing.
like the everything has been shattered. You're just on like floating fragments of planets out in the cosmos at this point. Like what are you doing? Like what's the end goal here, you know? Shouldn't you be like it seemed to me like the faster you deal with corrupted Shinnok, the faster things are going to get back to normal. I don't know, man. It was weird. And Katana's there, and I don't believe that Katana really gives a fuck or cares because
No.
she
Yeah.
had one conversation with Liu Kang in the last movie, then she had a brief one with him in this, and then she like suddenly was trying to like kill Shao Kahn. And Shao Kahn fucking pranks her, right? He totally like he intentionally played dead. Like he was in on it right away just so he could be like, haha, gotcha. You're evil and I'm gonna chain you to this column for the rest of the movie now. I don't know, man.
Honestly, I don't have really a whole lot else to say. I really because like otherwise we're just doing like nitty gritty nitpicking, and that's not interesting for anybody. But I'm over it.
The Liu Kang getting his a twist on the fire god Liu Kang, where he has elder god powers, so he can fight corrupted Shinnok, one being Shinnok or whatever. Doesn't feel like Mortal Kombat to me, you know?
No, it feels like in the same way that like a big siege doesn't feel like Mortal Kombat to me. Neither does that. Like it just feels like some other
Right.
shit. And
But I mean,
I'm not saying that Mortal Kombat can't be other things, but for me, it's like I don't know, man. I can go get that somewhere else.
Yeah, I can. The siege. I've seen the siege in games enough that I'm like, okay, well, this is a part of Mortal Kombat canon that we're getting to see that we didn't originally get to play. That's cool. But the Super Saiyan battle, and not only that, but like when Liu Kang
Super
finally
Saiyan battle.
when he has his like when he's awakened at the end fighting Shao Kahn, and he's
When his
like,
third eye opens.
knocking him like 100 feet in the air and like charging after him and like flying after him to knock him even higher and then pound him into the ground to beat him. Like I couldn't even cheer about that because I was like, look, I know that they had some amount of aerial like you could strike each other in the air for extended period of times in Mortal Kombat Armageddon. There was an amount of aerial combat inspired by like wuxia films, right?
Right. I mean, I don't know how concerned the movies are with the actual mechanics of the games.
But I like the mechanics of the games. That's the thing. Like this was, I might have directly said this on Combat Time. This was straight out of Final Fantasy Advent Children, right? Like,
Everybody's favorite film.
This was a Dragon Ball Z aerial flying around, hitting each other, Goku versus Frieza battle. Like that is not Mortal Kombat. You know, I would have much rather have seen what the rest of the movie had expected us to see, which was like this, you know, an extended version of this brutal like hand-to-hand combat that we had been shown for 2 movies now. Like to suddenly introduce this other thing as like the big turning point, this other type of combat. I was just like, this, what happened? Like when did we stop being Mortal Kombat and start being something else?
Yeah.
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 And I really liked I liked Scorpion's story in this. I liked Kuai Ling's story in this. I would have liked to see the full version of it. And we didn't get to see the full version of it. And that's a bummer. That's a real fucking bummer.
Yeah.
I'm kind of done. I didn't plan this
I'm
episode
done.
to go this
I'm
way.
done. I'm
I didn't
done.
think this episode was going to go this way. I took way too many fucking notes for this. Do you
I didn't
wanna
think this
talk
episode
about,
was going to go this way either, but I think it's the right thing to do.
Do you want to talk about Stryker dying? That was fun when Stryker died, right?
Honestly, like, no. Because, like, I just thought it was stupid.
I guess so Shang Tsung goes inside Stryker and blows and makes him rip his own head off. I think I could be wrong. I think that's his Mortal Kombat 9 fatality that Shang Tsung does.
No one knows. No one has ever played a video game before.
Somebody will tell us. I don't know. It was fun, but like it made me think like, well, why doesn't Shang Tsung just do this in every single fucking fight? Why didn't Shang Tsung immediately do this when he faced Liu Kang? Right? Like the fatalities.
Well,
in the
but
games,
at that point, like any powers in anything, like it's easy to just ask the question, like, why don't they do their most powerful and effective thing all the time? Because then you wouldn't have a story.
Well, but we didn't. But we already didn't really have a story. So like, why? I don't know, man.
I don't know.
I liked when Jax ripped Kentaro's arms off. That was kind of a cool like reversal of Jax
I
getting
too
his
love
arms ripped
irony.
off by Goro. But I was also left thinking like, well, Kentaro still has 2 arms. Like he's gonna be fine. Like he can still open doors and feed himself. Like he can still operate machinery with 2 arms. He could drive a car. Kentaro could drive a car still. Wasn't that bad. He's got spares.
That's why he has 4 arms.
Yeah, you can lose a couple and you'll be fine.
He can still roll a truck down a hill and clutch start it with those other 2 arms that he has.
100% he can, This, I don't know, man, the Sonya Johnny stuff. So the thing that pissed me off about Johnny, I just have to say it.
Is that he's fucking annoying?
Well, he knows the reality of all of the stuff that he's facing. His concerns are still with his relationship and trying to get Sonya to like him. It's just so fucking incredibly narcissistic that it's just like, oh, he knows what's going on. He just doesn't care. And that makes it really hard. Like I think that's when my patience with him really worn out when I realized, because I will admit, like, I think he had a couple of funny lines at the beginning when he was like, yeah, I fired my agent because they sent me to that weirdo death island. I thought that was funny, right? It was a nice callback. But then as the movie goes on, his character doesn't change or grow at all. We saw him like express like shock at his life like almost ending in the first movie when he kind of finally realizes that he's not in a fucking movie and this is for real. But then in this, he's just acting like he just acts like he doesn't give a shit. So then when like Sonya gets injured at the end, like finding the Tarkatan, suddenly then he's like, oh my God, this is real. I'm so sorry. You deserve better, and et cetera, et cetera. It's like, you did not receive new information. You have watched Raiden die. You watched Liu Kang get his arm cursed. You watched
This is not breaking news.
You watched Stryker get his head fucking ripped off. None of that affected your attitude at all until this. Like, this is a problem, dude. Like, you need to chill out. You are simping a little too hard. You're letting other people are dying and you don't give a fuck. And Sonya gets stabbed in the leg and suddenly you're like, no. It's just, yeah.
I actually took a lot more notes than I would have anticipated as well. And yeah, I have not been referencing them very much. Like, it is what it is, man. This is what we got.
Yeah, I got one final note that
Please.
I wrote that Ruby had more of a redemption arc in one episode of Defenders of the Realm than Katana has had in 2 80-minute features.
It's true. Absolutely.
It's 100% true. That's a change. That's a shift, but it's a very real point. There was just this thing needed to be longer. It needed to be 2 things. It needed to spend a little bit more time in the oven.
Getting crispy.
It looked good on the surface, but it wasn't cooked through.
Yeah, this is like biting into a pizza and the tip of the slice is frozen, but you've melted your hands to bone on the crust.
Also, Raiden's human eyes are creepy. That's weird. That was weird to see.
I don't support humans. Actually,
Just humans in general.
I'll stop there.
Okay. And yeah, all right. I think we're done.
I think we're done.
Apologies to anybody who loved this movie.
Honestly, I'd be curious to see how you what you got out of it to love it.
absolutely want to. I want to open the door. I think if you're listening to us, you know us well enough to know we're not going to judge you. You know.
No, I have terrible taste.
I want to hear. I want to hear if anyone out there, like, this is funny that we did this with the other Mortal Kombat movie that came out in 2021, right? Like, if you got different opinions on this, if you loved this thing, if you've got counterpoints, I'm genuinely interested in hearing them. You know how to reach us. Email, Twitter, anchor.fm, leave a voice message. If you fucking loved this thing and you think that we should love it too, I want to hear what you liked about it. Open door policy as always. Yes, please. But I think I'm done just being mad at this movie for right now and wishing we had gotten like a full fleshed out Scorpion Sub-Zero movie. Here's the thing. Okay, I got to talk about this too. Scorpion and Sub-Zero, they're not even my favorite fucking characters in this movie. They were just the best part of this. It's making me like them more. And I think I'm extra mad at this movie because I love the last one so much. This feels like, I imagine this feels like what I'm going to feel later tonight when I go see Halloween Kills after loving Halloween 2018 so much. I have a feeling I'm going to have a similar reaction.
I hope the popcorn's good.
Just based on word of mouth.
I hope the popcorn's good.
Oh, it's going to be. I cannot wait. Dude, I haven't been to the movies since 2019.
Yeah,
You know
no,
what the
I
last-
hadn't been until like last week.
The last movie I saw in theaters was Sonic the Hedgehog.
Actually, that's not true on account of the obvious Mamma Mia experience that I had. But that was back to the theaters in a very specific way.
That was very different. Yeah, that was very different. Yeah, man. I think I'm going to have a good time no matter what. just 'cause
I
I'll be
think
back,
you will.
know?
I saw Halloween Kills in an empty movie theater at like 11 at night, which was pretty sick.
Oh, shit. Well, I'm going with a friend, so I won't be alone.
Lame. I don't even have any friends.
But...
We're business partners.
And our business is failing.
Well, we can't write checks we can't cash, so.
Sure, but somebody's got checks with horses on them, and that's pretty cool.
God, I can't wait for this.
Seriously, differing opinions on Mortal Kombat Legends Battle of the Realms. Please let us know. We want to hear. I want to get it. Like, I genuinely want to get it. Like, I want to go into I want to love things. When I see things, I want to love them. I really do.
I might not get it, but I at least want to hear people out.
Yeah, I want to hear it too. So by all means, please don't hesitate to reach out, even if you just reach out to call us idiots. Because, we have the power of editing, so we can, like, cut that shit out. But for now, Corey, I don't know. I think it's time for us to turn solid gold and fly out into space to become dragons and fix the realms. Or more specifically, it's time for me to go see Halloween Kills.
Good luck.
What do you have to plug?
Well, I've got another podcast that I do with my friends, Liam and Mitch. Well, actually, I guess they're my business partners on account of my not having any friends. Called They Made Another One. Which is about like sequels and reboots and remakes and stuff. We actually have an episode out about Halloween Kills. If you haven't seen it and are curious, you can go listen to that. But that's They Made Another on Twitter, and then They Made Another One on all your podcast services, and then I'm at Mr. Corey Price, which is MR, my name, on Twitter.
Nice. You can follow me on Twitter at Final Neil.
He's the last one.
I am the last one. Follow my retro gaming Instagram account at Final Neil Retro. Follow the podcast on Twitter and Instagram at MK Podquest, and look us up on Good Pods. Rate us and review us 5 stars. Leave us good reviews anywhere you can. It helps spread the word. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. I'm going to think positive and say that we hit our goal for our custom URL. But if we didn't, hey, help us out. Go subscribe to the YouTube channel, even if you don't watch anything.
I, for one, love optimism.
If you like what we do and aren't too mad at us for being really mean to Battle of the Realms.
If you're not Ethan Spalding.
ko-fi.com/mkpodquest. Buy us a jar of wine or two, and hey, maybe you'll contribute to our goal to get Corey and me vanity license plates.
This is the dumbest shit. This is so stupid.
And that's it. I think it's time for us to get out of here.
I'm going to go Battle of the Realms.
I'm going to go talk to the little brother of the man I killed and tell him I deserve to die for what I did, but he better keep this Kamidogu out of the hands of the robots that are chasing us both. So, typical Sunday.
You're telling me a battle of these realms? I'm going to hit stop.